Hello everyone, welcome to the AnimeVerse Recap channel. If you like the videos, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any adventures. After the war on Whole Cake Island ended, the world of One Piece began to fall into a period of chaos. While the Yonko were quietly preparing for their big moves, the Straw Hats set off for the mysterious land, Wano country, known as the Kingdom of the Indomitable Samurai. But the road to Wano was not easy. On the outside, the Navy was closely monitoring every move, and underground forces were lurking. Inside, Zoro and his teammates had to hide in a society full of cruel laws. Let's recap the entire event from episode 890 to 894, where everything is just the beginning of the storm called Wano. Episode 890 opens with a scene of Sphinx Island, Whitebeard's homeland. Mr. Nico Mamushi found Marco. Currently, after losing with his teammates to the Blackbeard pirates, Marco retired here to work as a doctor to help the people here, as well as to preserve the remaining memories of his godfather. This is also the village that the godfather built. Before that, because of the general poverty, some countries could not pay tribute or receive protection from the world government. The godfather was one of the orphans who grew up here in the above situation. He went to sea when he was young. After having power, he anonymously sent his own money and treasure back here to help his homeland develop. That was also the reason why, even though he really wanted to treat his children to a good drink, the godfather never had any money on him. Marco the Phoenix knew that Buchan and Weevil would soon attack here, aiming at him and to find some treasure that Whitebeard left behind, even though there was no treasure. That's why he couldn't leave, because he wanted to protect this place. He only knew that about 45 years ago, Buchan was on the same boat with his father when he heard that Luffy was planning to fight Kaido. Marco was shocked. He couldn't believe that Ace's little brother was planning to fight the Beast Pirates at this time. Episode 891, Wano Country. A mysterious land where samurai gather, completely isolated from other countries. Now that the Straw Hats have entered the kingdom's territory, unusually harsh weather occurs frequently. Fierce monsters and gloomy skies appear to greet them. The giant carp was joined by an octopus wearing a headband, who also climbed aboard to join them. The fish boat jumped together, splashing water to open the sea path for Sony to enter. They need to cross this waterfall to enter Wano country. Luffy pulled Sunny to hold on to the giant carp so they could pull the boat up. As soon as they reached the top, they encountered a giant whirlpool. I don't know if the recruits are safe or not, but I see that Sunny and the captain fell into the water, and so the journey to Wano country officially began with a not-so-favorable start. Episode 892, and this is Wano country. Because Kinemon had previously told the Straw Hats advance group to stay put until Luffy gathered. Therefore, each member of the crew split up to play their own role as the peaceful extras. First is Franosuke as a carpenter, Yusohachi as an oil seller, Orobi as a Giesel. Zoro is currently a Ronin. In the quiet of the night, on the way home from drinking, Zoro encountered a masked murderer covered in blood, but because he let him escape, Zoro was suspected by the people as the murderer. Because he promised Kinmen not to cause trouble, he also let go of his hands and surrendered. The judge Toyama Tetsuji Jiro forced Zoro to commit seppuku to atone for his crimes. Seppuku is a ritual of disembowelment. However, Zoro smelled the same blood as the murderer that night on Toyama's body. There was no doubt that he was the real murderer that had recently made the people worried. A sword aura emitted from the disembowelment knife slashed straight at Toyama. Now that he could no longer remain silent, the first riot broke out from Zoro. As for Luffy, he and Sunny were washed ashore by the waves. Episode 893, from Luffy's place, a baboon with a sword fighting with a pig-nosed dog with a body like a lion appeared. According to my research, this breed is called Camino, so let's call it a lion dog for convenience. While these two were fighting, Luffy remembered the situation of everyone in the whirlpool. According to his memory, at that time, Sanji carried everyone off the ship. When it was Luffy's turn, he was held back by the octopus demon, so he sank with Sunny and drifted here and there. Because of that, the life card also drifted away somewhere. Meanwhile, Zoro's direction was ruined. Kinmen told him not to mess around, but look at him, he brought down the whole person's palace. Back in the direction of the Straw Hat, Kaido's scouts found the location of the intruder. Luffy dodged the bullet with observation haki and then threw them away, accidentally rescuing the little girl Otama. The monkey demon and the lion dog were just scared by Hausuku haki and obediently said yes to him right away. The little girl Otama also used a piece of wood to hit the heads of the soldiers supporting Luffy. Next, he experienced the feeling of the rocket. Otama was a little scared of Luffy at this time. After that, she was less scared. Then she used some ability of hers to take a kibi targo from her mother and fed the monkey. Immediately, it saw Otama as a friend and listened to the little girl. In the street, Zoro's wanted posters were posted everywhere, making everyone afraid because he was considered a serious criminal. According to Tama, the place they were standing was called Curry in the Wano kingdom. Then she also called this demon Anarchy because she saw that he was too strong. And Anarchy is a way of addressing people in Tokyo. Simply understood in this case, it can be seen as a way of addressing someone like an older brother or calling someone a big brother. Episode 894. Previously, while going into town to buy things. On the way back, the henchman and the baboon planned to rob Otama. The lion dog attacked the baboon to protect her. Because of being robbed, Otama said something that was considered against the rules of this place. She said that when the Koyuki family returned, they would teach these bad people a lesson, and that was the reason why Otama was captured by them. To repay her for saving her life, Otama showed her Anarchy a safe place to anchor the Sunny, then took Luffy home to cook a meal to treat him. The monkey was also named Hihimaro by the girl. Her village was located on a mountain, but according to her, the village no longer exists. Now only Otama and a person she calls Otsuru-sama live here. Her dream is to grow up to become a charming female ninja. The simple meal was meticulously cooked by the little girl to treat her benefactor. It was just enough for a full bowl, but that was nothing compared to Luffy's elastic stomach. He intended to ask for more, but when he heard the girl say that there was no more food, he pretended to be full. But she sat there licking the bowl like that in front of the owner. "Is this guy full?" Because of the sound of his hungry stomach growling, Otama had to secretly run to the river bank to drink water to stop his hunger. When Osama returned and saw Luffy eat all the rice, he was very angry. That was the money he gave her to buy rice, so Otama could eat rice on her birthday. He was right to be angry, because how could Luffy know how many days Otama had gone without eating anything? They knit hats every day to sell, barely earning enough money to feed one person. Look at the village. Is this still a place for humans to live? They can only eat grass to get through the hunger. At least he wants Ota to eat rice twice a year on the girl's birthday and on New Year's. Today is her 8th birthday, yet Luffy ate all the rice. How can he not be angry? Luckily, Otama ran back to explain that because that was her savior, she had just cooked for Anarchy, but because the water she drank was contaminated by chemicals from Kaido's factory, Otama's body condition was very critical. With the pollution the factory discharged, drinking water was no different than drinking poison. Even though she knew that, seeing that, just to stop her stomach from growling and not be embarrassed in front of Luffy, Otama ran out to drink it. There are places with better living conditions than the current situation here, but Otama wanted to wait for someone because of a promise with that person, so the two of them were the last ones left. That promise was between Otama and Ace. When he heard the news, Luffy spoke frankly without hesitation. Ace was dead. This was no different from a mental shock to Otama. This old man is Tenguayama Itetsu, a swordsmith. This village was formerly called Amigasa. About a year ago, Kaido's subordinate X-Drake came to destroy this place. The only place that prospered in Wano was the capital where Sogo Orochi lived. The rest of the places became desolate and lawless for Kaido and his gang to rule. 4 years ago, he drifted to find food to help the people and the girl Otama. The two have become close to each other since then. And so, the journey to Wano officially begins. What we just witnessed is just the beginning, where each member of the Straw Hat crew must adapt, hide, and prepare for the confrontation with Kaido, the world's strongest creature. Behind the scenes, great forces are starting to move, while the secrets of this sealed country are still not revealed. In the next episodes, things will get more tense when Luffy and his crew actually set foot in Wano and encounter their first enemies. If you like this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next recap.